everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Faith Nation. I'm Jenna Browder. While many are getting to enjoy time off during the holidays, America's servicemen and women are often working to protect the country. Tonight, we will focus on stories highlighting the military. We start with the story of a former Navy SEAL who was shot 27 times and survived. Mark Martin has the story.
It still has all the bullet holes in it, still covered in blood. It's ripped in the back here.
Retired Navy SEAL Senior Chief Mike Day shows me body armor that helped protect him in a battle with al-Qaeda terrorists in Iraq.
What is this here? Talk about this.
Well, this is what we call an LBE, load-bearing equipment. So this is what you carry your radio in, your magazines, and it's actually loaded up pretty much the way it was that night.
That night in April 2007 in Anbar Province, Day's team of Navy SEALs and Iraqi scouts were on the hunt for a high-level al-Qaeda cell. He says the terrorists had shot down helicopters. Being the first to enter a 12-by-12 room where 4 al-Qaeda leaders waited to strike proved to be almost deadly.
As soon as I entered the room, they opened fire, and I lost my rifle. I transitioned to my pistol, and I killed the guy down the left wall as I was coming off my feet. And I landed right next to him.
When the gunfight was over, Day took out all 4 terrorists in the room, but not before being shot 27 times and hit with grenade shrapnel.
So all of this equipment you were wearing the night that you got shot 27 times?
Correct.
Day first shared his miraculous story with CBN News 6 years ago. Now he has a new book called Perfectly Wounded, a memoir about what happens after a miracle. He says the title came from a comment made by an emergency room doctor.
So he got to see all manner of gunshot wounds, stab wounds. I mean, he saw, if you work in the ER, you get to see all that stuff.
True.
And I was explaining to him where I'd been shot, and his response was, well, you were just perfectly wounded.
Do you believe that God spared your life?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people will look at that whole gunfight. No, you got shot 27 times and walked away from it. You're here for a reason. I think I'm just starting to find out that I actually am. I look at the rest of my life and how protected I've been. I haven't talked to these people, my guardian angels, but I've almost died multiple times, and I'm still here.
What do you hope people take away from the book?
Maybe a way to help build resiliency. And I don't want to give advice. I don't. I'm like, this is how I did it. That's pretty much what the book's about. How I suffered trauma like everybody's going to, and how I built the resiliency to get through the next one.
Although Day doesn't want to give advice, he does offer this to those who may deal with tough times in their own lives.
If all you do is sit on a couch and watch TV and eat bad food, when something really bad happens, you don't have the training, you don't have the practice to get through that. And it can become overwhelming, and it's going to dump you into a hole. So it's just a mindset of training and practicing to build resiliency. And that means getting up and working out. Push yourself just a tiny bit. I like to end my showers with cold water. Knocks the steam down in the room, and it also provides that shock. And I think if you practice physical resiliency, it's going to also build your psychological resiliency, and vice versa.
Before writing the book, Day spent his life giving back. He worked at the U.S. Special Operations Command Warrior Care Program, also called the CARE Coalition, helping service members. He's also taught free fall to military personnel and Special Operations Urban Combat to SEAL teams. Senior Chief Day is also in the process of starting a nonprofit organization called Warrior Tribe. It will provide resiliency education for young people, veterans, and trauma survivors. The retired Navy SEAL is also considering running for governor of Virginia because of his concern that constitutional rights are being taken away.
Yeah, very preliminary. I don't really want to do it. But when I get scared, and I'm kind of scared right now when I'm watching, when I get scared, I go fight. I don't cower. My fight or flight reflex tells me to go fight. And I'm kind of scared right now about what's going on.
Day definitely did not cower that night in 2007 in Iraq when he nearly lost his life.
Why is it important to you to keep this?
Because I want to be able to remember. I mean, it's a treasured possession of mine because it helps me remember. And I don't want to forget it.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for your service, too, as well, most definitely.
Oh, gee, I got kicked out of high school. Had nothing else to do.
No, it's very honorable, your service.
Well, I'm lucky I got to do it.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
Honorable indeed. Well, how military chaplains are working during the pandemic when Faith Nation returns.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news, exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN Newswatch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man coming.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Welcome back. Well, in the days of the pandemic, military members on the front lines have needed a place to turn. Eric Phillips looks at the role of military chaplains during these unprecedented times.
Major General Thomas Soljam tells me spiritual fitness is a major pillar of military readiness. And he says during this challenging time, the 2,800 chaplains in his department are working overtime.
When you put on the uniform in service to your country, Eric, and you're asked to possibly lay down your life in rendering service to your country, we have a moral obligation to fulfill. To care for the soul of that soldier.
And Major General Soljam tells me that obligation to the soldier is more important than ever right now.
So you might have a death of a family member, for example, and you can't go to the funeral. Or you have parents that are aged and shut in and you can't get there. Now, we have seen a reporting from our chaplains out in the field that there's been a real increase in a number of different areas for soldiers and their families reaching out to them for assistance, for spiritual direction, guidance, and for religious care as well for those things.
The same types of sacrifice civilians face, coupled with the added responsibility of service.
So, as with any worship, worship is centered around the light of Christ. And so we very much intentionally are lighting this light of Christ.
To meet the need, chaplains have increased the hosting of live services.
It's really a new phenomenon, and I'm really pleased to see how our people have stepped up to embrace the virtual environment in order to really continue to help people to stay connected.
And today's thought is on the importance of small things.
It means chaplains of all faiths across all military branches, not just ministering to troops and their families, but to all who tune in.
So it's really taught us, I think, to raise the quality of our of our speaking, of what we offer people in a worship service or setting.
And they're getting creative, like with the drive-in Easter service at this installation in Japan, or this Navy virtual service in Pensacola, Florida.
They've been even doing things like Zoom potlucks, right? So chapel groups or religious groups, you know, doing virtual potlucks, just wanting to maintain fellowship, because that's a very important connection. So I see it in all of the struggle that people are facing. It's a tremendous opportunity for people to be touched in their lives spiritually that in many ways life as normal may not have produced.
Soljam says another positive of this challenging time is those in his department learning of one another's faith in a deeper way. And he says no matter how many chaplains he has, there's always room for one more. Eric Phillips, CBN News.
Coming up, an insider's look at the fighter pilot school made famous in the movie Top Gun.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Catholic Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
During the Vietnam War, the Navy desperately needed help in air combat, so they turned to a young pilot who started what's now called Top Gun. Here's CBN's Heather Sells.
You may remember the 1986 movie Top Gun. It brought national attention to the Navy's elite fighter pilot school.
I feel the need for speed.
But it didn't tell the whole story. The story begins in 1956, when Dan Pedersen began flying for the Navy. Based off the West Coast, he and other young pilots flew the skies, ready to intercept Soviet bombers. But then the Vietnam War began, and suddenly the Navy began losing its very best in what it had long prided itself on, air-to-air combat.
You go to dinner at night, and there's empty chairs at the table.
Dan Pedersen founded the Navy's Top Gun school to take on an incredible challenge. The Navy was failing in the skies over Vietnam and losing its pilots at an astonishing rate.
The general thought was that all you had to do was send aviators into action, teach them how to use the equipment, and if they would do that, they would win victories.
Military historian Timothy Orr says the Navy went into the Vietnam War supremely confident after great success in the skies during the Korean War. It quickly began losing pilots, however, and Orr says that's because most had received little training in air combat.
They would get surprised by North Vietnamese MiGs, and if they got into a tangle with them, the MiGs, though they were vastly outdated, were very maneuverable, and the pilots of them knew how to push the limits of their aircraft.
In 1967, Pedersen was flying off the USS Enterprise off the Vietnam coast. In just 4 months, his air group lost 13 men. In what's known as the kill ratio, the Navy was losing 1 plane for every 2 it shot down.
You can't live with losing airplanes like we were, so we had to do something.
Pedersen documents that something, the founding of the Navy's Fighter Weapons School, in his new book. We met aboard the decommissioned USS Midway to talk about one of the great turnarounds in modern military history. For Pedersen, it started with the ALT Report, a 1968 brief that examined all the Navy's problems in the air and recommended hardcore training as a remedy.
It was time to get well in the middle of a war. And the only way to get well in a hurry is to do a graduate level school. In other words, train a nucleus of people and have them go out and train the guys in the fleet.
The way the Navy looked at it was, in general, that they were relying too much on the technology, that they needed to kind of get back to teaching pilots how to dogfight, teach them how to use the tricks of the trade to outmaneuver their opponents in the air.
A Navy captain tapped Pedersen, a flight instructor at the Miramar Air Station at the time, to organize and found the school. He offered him no money, no mechanics, and no planes to call their own, along with a tight deadline.
I said, how much time I got? And he said, somewhere over 60 days to 90 days and to have the first class convened. I said, you gotta be kidding me. No, we're gonna do it here. No building, no classroom to teach in. He said, you can do it. He said, improvise.
One of Pedersen's instructors found an abandoned trailer and paid a crane operator a case of scotch to move it. Pedersen then picked 8 of Miramar's finest pilots who would teach a new generation how to dogfight all over again and push their planes to their limits.
You may train, you may think you're the best, but you're going to find out for real. And if you don't do it right, you don't go home.
The extremely practical and finely tuned curriculum taught by specialists who understood mechanics, the tactics of the enemy, and the need for innovation would make all the difference. 3 years later, in the next major aerial campaign against Vietnam, the kill ratio improved 600%. The Navy was now losing 1 plane for every 12 it shot down. Looking back, Pedersen sees the hand of God in it all and says the original bros do as well.
There are no atheists flying combat airplanes. They may think they are for a while, but over the course of time, they'll have things happen to them or their airplane that will bring God right to the surface.
Today, Top Gun continues to take just the top 1% of the Navy's pilots and train them to train others.
The reason that U.S. Navy pilots are among the elite is because of the education they receive.
Pedersen says he considers Top Gun to be bigger and better than ever. But he says he wrote the book for high school kids, trying to figure out what they want to do. He hopes they'll consider the Navy, and maybe even flying, if they're up for a challenge like no other. Reporting in San Diego, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Well, former Navy SEAL Will Chesney was on the harrowing mission that took down Osama bin Laden. He's written a book paying tribute to the heroic actions of his closest four-legged partner. Here again is Eric Phillips.
Will Chesney's book, No Ordinary Dog, focuses on his four-legged partner Cairo as much as himself, if not more. In a one-on-one interview, he explained how Cairo saved his life in more ways than one. So Chesney decided to highlight the major role working dogs play for our military.
You know, I don't like talking about myself, but I'll talk about Cairo. He's pretty easy to talk about.
36-year-old retired Navy SEAL Will Chesney says he's always had a love for dogs and knew as a teenager he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. It wasn't until years later, after achieving that goal, that his two loves came together after hearing the testimonials of military dog handlers.
Raise your hand if a dog's ever saved your life. And everybody's hand just went up pretty much.
The first time I met Cairo was at Dam Neck at the training facility. And I remember him coming out towards the bunkers that we were working on. And he was a good-looking, laid-back, calm dog. He had a great bite. He was a really good worker. I got pretty lucky getting him.
Non-stop training built trust, relationship, and a deep dedication.
You know, we asked these dogs to do some pretty dangerous stuff, you know, and sometimes they lay down their lives to save ours.
That almost happened during a 2009 mission in Afghanistan when Cairo was shot while protecting his teammates.
When I saw him, he collapsed. I thought he had passed away. I thought he was dead right there.
But Cairo survived and went on to take part in a mission to finally get Osama bin Laden, the infamous mastermind behind 9/11.
But my job that night was to do sweeps of the perimeter, putting the dog in the best position to find any explosives or tunnel systems. I like to say I was just there to babysit Cairo pretty much and let him do all the work. And I remember, I'll never forget when we landed, just looking around and seeing that everybody was still alive and okay, and we had accomplished the mission. And I got to do it with my dog.
Assignments then took Chesney and Cairo in different directions. About a year later, a grenade blast left Chesney with a brain injury and post-traumatic stress, resulting in a difficult discharge from the Navy. By then, Cairo was also reaching the end of his career, and Chesney was able to bring him home.
Cairo was a huge part, and I would think getting me through the tough times as well. Cairo helped me get through some really tough times.
After watching Cairo suffer from cancer, Chesney had him put down in 2015. He says he wrote No Ordinary Dog to honor Cairo's memory, while also bringing attention to military working dogs and service animals in general.
Took care of me, I took care of him. And I just want to tell Cairo's story.
An ultimate love story between man and man's best friend. That's why, with shrapnel still in his body, Chesney says he will continue to advocate for animals who assist and protect our military and first responders. He believes Cairo would be proud. Eric Phillips, CBN News.
How small business is helping the military during the pandemic. When we come back.
Christians around the world are standing with the Israelis. But why? In CBN's free magazine, Friends of Israel, you'll discover why Christians are supporting the Jewish state, how Israel is fulfilling prophecy as a light to the nations, and ways you can pray for the people of Israel. Israel needs the support of friends like you. Call now or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Friends of Israel.
Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the work of your Spirit, Lord God, with this movement of getting the Bible,
yes,
Lord, into public schools.
Watch The Prayer Link, Tuesday nights at 6:30.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Get Protect Your Sleep and live your best life with innovative information from 5 leading sleep experts.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
Discover a sleep-enhancing bedtime routine, how to put insomnia to rest, learn how to relieve pain that disturbs sleep, and much more in Protect Your Sleep.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Don't miss out on this brand new series.
Businesses are mobilizing to meet the needs of military families, with some having to completely change their production lines due to the coronavirus. Charlene Aaron has more.
Since 2008, Signature Canvas Makers has been known for making products for boats. But in light of COVID-19, the business has now turned into a major mask-making operation. Charlene Clark runs this small business with her husband, Chandler, supplying canvas material for water recreation and amusement park rides. Seeing the growing demand for masks and face shields, they decided to step up.
We said, you know what, we can do this. We have the ability to do this. We have the technology to do this. We have the network of people that we can bring in to do this. So it made sense.
Using computer design technology known as CAD, the company quickly retooled, switching from recreation to protection.
We have a cutting table, so that has allowed us to really scale and scale very quickly. So we're able to cut hundreds of masks at a time rather than one or two, or smaller quantities. So it has been a little bit of a departure, but it is canvas, it is textile, it is a textile product. So that's our business. That's what we do.
With a staff of 9 employees, the business normally makes 300 to 400 surgical and filter style masks a week. Then the Navy came knocking with a major need.
We had an order for, our first really big order was for 1,600 masks for the USS Wasp. And they had a very definitive deadline that they were asking us to meet. And we had about a week to meet that deadline. No pressure. No pressure.
It allows you to adjust.
Since then, military requests have been coming in from other parts of the country.
We've been working with different other commands, all the way from here in Norfolk all the way down to Pensacola, Florida, to supply quantities to their sailors. It's been a great transition for us.
That transition allowed the Clarks to meet another need. They hired more people, including those desperate for work.
We have about 12 to 15 ladies that are working for us from their homes. They've been laid off from their jobs, their normal jobs. Most of them are professional seamstresses or tailors.
Abigail Bomar was furloughed from her job at a small boutique.
It's been a great way to spend my time, great way to make some extra money.
Thankful also for work that is making a difference.
And doing something purposeful feels great.
A sentiment shared by her new employer.
I thank God every day that we are in the position that we are in right now. I have so many friends that own their own businesses that aren't as fortunate as we are to, they've had to lay off employees. They're on, potentially on the verge of losing their businesses. We are very grateful for this opportunity. We are very grateful that we are able to employ people on the outside and help them support themselves and their families. The fact that we've been able to help some of our sailors is something that's really special to us as well.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
And that's going to do it for Faith Nation tonight. Have a happy and safe holiday.